your hearts and minds to our season of first fruits giving. Throughout the Bible, there are several verses about giving our first fruits offerings to God. Proverbs 3:9 tells us, "Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over with new wine." A first fruits offering is like picking the season's first ripe, red, juicy apple from your tree and offering it to God, who brought it forth from seed. This act of giving is done with praise and thanksgiving for past and future harvests. A first fruits offering is above your normal tithes and offerings and comes from your source of income. Your first fruits offering can be a day's pay, a week's pay, a month's pay, or a year's pay. The decision is yours. Here's how to give. Number 1, pray. Ask God to help you be obedient to His word in this season of giving. Number 2, plan. Decide what you will give above your regular tithes and offerings. Remember, your first fruits offerings can be a day's pay, a week's pay, a month's pay, or a year's pay. Number 3, give. Whether you're using an offering envelope or giving online, select first fruits. By giving your first fruits offering to God, you acknowledge that all your harvest and everything you have comes from God and belongs to Him. Make this the year that you put God first in everything you do. Make this the year that you trust God with everything you have. Let's come together as a body of believers in giving our first fruits offering above our tithes and offering. Let's give God our first and our best.
Welcome to the channel. We are so glad you are here.
Yes, whether you are joining us from across the city or across the country, we want to personally welcome you. Thank you for choosing to worship with us today.
If this is your first time tuning in, we would love to connect with you. Drop your name in the comments and let us know where you are watching from.
We really do mean that. Tell us where you are worshiping from. We want to show you some love in the comments and make you feel right at home.
And before we get started, take just a second to like this video, share it with someone, and subscribe to the channel.
When you like and share, you are not just clicking a button. You're helping this message reach someone who may need encouragement today.
And while you're watching, don't just sit back. Engage with us.
Yes, take notes, comment what stands out to you, and share what God is speaking to your heart. We love seeing how the message is impacting you.
We believe that through our pastors, you're going to hear a message that is inspirational,
Life-changing.
and practical for wherever you are right now.
So get ready, open your heart, grab your Bibles or your notes.
And let's lean in together. Welcome to church.
Welcome back, family. Thank each and every one of you for being a part of our Wednesday Bible study. We consider a privilege and an honor that you joined us. And if you could do us an honor, can you go ahead and like, share, and subscribe this message? And we'll be in YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're receiving this broadcast. But we need you to do us another favor. Go ahead and put some hand clap emojis in the comment section. We're so grateful to see each and every one of you. And I want you to know, even though we're on this panel discussion and everybody seems like they're afraid, they're going to just clap their hands because they're just in a place where they're going to get out of the spirit of fear and the power of love and the sound mind. Y'all did not clap your hands yet, so we're going to clap. There we go. All right. We're going to shake this mood off. We're so grateful to see all of your beautiful faces. If you could, please like, share, and subscribe. And we're so grateful again to have each and every one of you here. We're excited today because we get to have our leadership panel, and we're excited to see what God is getting ready to reveal to you in this particular broadcast. Again, we'll be talking about leadership in the church and also in the marketplace. But before we get started, we want to make sure we introduce all that are on the panel. Starting on my left.
My name is Sharon Mabry. This is my husband, Calvin Mabry. We're walking into our 21st year of marriage, and I've been in attendance to Elevation 26 years.
I am Calvin Mabry. I've been married 20 years. She said walking into 21. And I've been attending the church for 23 years.
And I am Fran Davis. I have been attending Elevation for about 26 years. We're going on 16 years of marriage in 3 weeks.
My name is Anthony Davis, and I've been a member at Elevation for about 16 years.
My name is Terry Price, and I've been a member of Elevation for 21 years. I'm sitting beside my wife, Nikki, who we're looking at 20 years in July, marriage.
I love him. I'm Nikki Price. We've been married 20 years in June. We've been a member of Elevation. I've been for about 23 years.
Hello, everyone. My name is Takia Saab. I am not married, but I've been a member of Elevation Baptist Church for 12 years.
Again, we're so thankful to have this powerful panel that we have before you today, and we're going to get right into it. Again, we're talking about leadership not only in the church but also within the marketplace. I'm going to read this quote for you, and it reads like this: leadership is public, but life is personal. Again, leadership is public, but life is personal. I'm going to read this number one question off to the panel, and we're going to focus on this. How do you balance leadership responsibility with marriage and family? Again, how do you balance leadership responsibility with marriage and family?
I think it's pretty simple. It's pretty easy for us. And you handle it just like you would handle any, I guess, perspective of your life, whether it be work, friends, whatever. I treat everything, it's a calendar base for me. So you put your priorities out there and you write it all out as if it was a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment. And you say no to things, you say yes to things, but you have that free will. So you kind of schedule things out accordingly, just to make sure you have time just for all things that are important to you.
Well, I just concur, basically. Nothing really to add to that. Ultimately, it's you got to have, here's my yeses and here's my nos, regardless of if it's outside or inside.
I think there's a balance to each other's leadership, understanding what each other's strengths and possible weaknesses are, be able to come together and understand who is better at doing what or who's weaker doing what. Then you can be able to come together and just plan better and know how to be able to prepare for the things coming up that you have to take care of.
And I'm going to piggyback off what you said about the planner. I have to keep a planner and see what, prioritize that way according to what I can do, what I can't do. And a lot of times, sometimes you have to say no. You know what comes first and take care of that.
think it's about putting God first and planning as best you can and having everything in the right priority.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Sometimes it's not necessarily just a balance. For me, it is more of an integration. So with leadership, especially, outside of church and the workplace, I have to travel a lot, maybe gone a lot. So what I try to do is incorporate my family into those trips or coming to my job for luncheons or whatever. So I try to integrate as much as possible so that we keep the order of things. God first, my husband second, my family, my church, my health, keep everything that is supposed to be important in my life the important thing.
Wow. Well, thank you so much with that. And I'm gonna go to this next question. How do you lead without bleeding? Meaning, how do you keep personal stress from affecting how you serve? I want to focus on this part. How do you lead without bleeding? Because reality is we do go through situations and we're not robots. We do have masks on, if we can be honest, when we do come to church. And we want to show you the best version of ourselves. When reality, we might be struggling in areas. But the real question is, how do you not bleed on people and give them what's going on within you? If that makes any sense. How do you not let them know that you're angry or upset or somebody cussed you out in the parking lot before you got into church? So how do you respond from that? And I want to start with you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So I want to be vulnerable in a sense that there have been times where I did bleed and, my friends, my colleagues, and people around me did see it. However, those people would clean my wound and put the bandage on and have me keep going. One thing also I would like to mention is you talked about personal stress. A lot of times, I believe that we have our own stresses, but sometimes we kind of look at other people and we take on their problems. So sometimes you have to think, okay, is this something that I am dealing with? Is this something that I need to prioritize or take on myself, whether that be family, it can be friends, lovers, whatever it is, work. You just have to realize, okay, is it something that I personally am dealing with, or am I taking on someone else's personal stresses? So once I think about discernment, and God has given that to me, I appreciate it, but sometimes it's like an empath thing. A lot of times you have to figure out, okay, is this something that I need to deal with personally because it's mine, or am I taking on family stresses? So again, separating those and dealing with it going into leadership, you want to make sure that you're continuing to keep a positive and optimistic attitude as you're dealing with people, because a lot of times we might take our stresses out on people who it has nothing to do with. So just remembering, okay, where do I compartmentalize, and saying, okay, I'm dealing with these groups of people right here, and this is the attitude that I should take.
Anybody?
I think you need me personally, I try to stay prayed up, even though not physically seeing you pray all the time. In your mind, you're constantly praying to be able to figure or get the Lord's help with being able to handle the situation, but at the same time not wanting to be able to snap or let that stress affect you. So I in my mind, I mentally continue to try to pray and ask for the Lord's strength to be able to, help me along the way, to be able to build you up in strength until, that situation will be addressed.
I'll just chime in. So to keep from the bleeding, one, I'm very grateful for this man sitting beside me right here, because one hug from him kind of keeps that stress level really down quite a bit. But what I would also like to add to it is to have, compassion for others, right? Because in a leadership role, we are responsible for modeling what others might need to see as we're leading. And so that does require us to have a lot of compassion and empathy. And so when I think about all the grace and the mercy that God has shown me, I have no choice but to show it to others.
I think we also should consider when we in the leadership role, people react to your energy. People react how you react. So if you're constantly, in this space, or you're complaining, it feeds unto others, and of course we don't want that. It trickles down, and we don't want that to happen. So we do have to be mindful of people, how we display ourselves, and what we share, because people do. They mimic that. They take on that energy.
I'd like to say something. So when I think about bleeding, I think about Christ and what he did as a man. He went to the cross and bled as a man. We're human, so I expect us to bleed. Self-triage won't work sometimes, and I think that the Holy Spirit is what helps us in those scenarios, and we need that.
Okay. Well, one thing about not just, especially people that are Christians, you'll be shocked, and I know if you're online and you might feel what I'm about to say, people that say they're Christians will hurt you the most by what they say, their actions, and sometimes you don't expect people that say they love Jesus to talk to you like people off the streets will. And sometimes people from the streets will show you more love than people that say they love Jesus. So, especially when you come into church, and y'all, and I'm telling you, if you see this panel, they look so beautiful. Brother Mabry and Sister Mabry holding hands, and they make me want to get me and my wife back together, go to another level. And I'm sitting there looking at them like, Lord, they love Jesus. And then they talking this way. I'm like, oh man, it's all beautiful. But reality is, family, can we just loosen up and be real? Yep. When somebody's talking to you crazy in the church, how do you respond? Have you ever been in a space where somebody said something to you left and you had to check yourself because you were about to come at the same energy that they came in? Now, he said you got to pray before. I think with Brother David, he said you have to pray before you speak. But can I ask you this? What if prayer is not accessible at that time? How do you respond to foolery? Anybody?
So,
yes, sir.
I've had that to actually happen in the church.
Yep.
And essentially, we just, for lack of a better phrase, took the high road. We didn't try to force our way into what it was where we knew we were supposed to be. We simply found another way, went into Joshua Generation Room, had our meeting, and then afterwards we just followed up to make sure that we got clarity for what it is that that both parties are supposed to be doing. So yeah, we were a little hot, we're human. She and I, were able to kind of chop it up a little bit and talk about it afterwards. But at the end of the day, we don't know what that person either got into before they came to church. We don't know what happened, something could have triggered earlier. So we didn't match that energy, even though we have the ability to, but we didn't. We just moved on, and then, like I said, we just followed up later to make sure that didn't happen again.
That's great. That's great. Now let me give you Bible, Joshua 24:15. I didn't want to get, and Deuteronomy 6:6-7 says, show that leaders set the spiritual tone in the home through prayer, scripture, worship, and God-centered decision making. So can we start right here? It doesn't happen when you get to the job or the church. It starts in the home. The home is where the tone is set. When you wake up in the morning, before you even brush your teeth, before you even check your cell phone, you have to check yourself first through asking God to help you through your day. And that starts everything, your mood, your focus, because the first thing the enemy is going to do, he's going to try to trigger you through people. He'll have you in a place where you get mad for no reason, upset, and you'll be receiving energy from someone that's trying to get you into a place of frustration. So we have to always be into a point where we have to set the tone by checking our home. Our home, not the building, but our house, our heart, our spirit, our mind, and our thoughts. Let's go here, because I really appreciate what you guys are giving. The next question is going to be this: how do you protect your spiritual life while constantly pouring into others? How do you protect your spiritual life while constantly pouring into others? Anyone?
So I'll start with this one. Sometimes you do have to say no, as Sister Mabry said earlier, because no can be a spiritual gift, right? Because God calls us to do certain things in leadership, and when we're following the discernment of what God has called us to do, then we won't be saying yes and jump into everything. And so that will protect us in those times because we're not spreading ourselves too thin as leaders.
I'll add that when you are pouring into others on a positive level, you're emptying yourself. And so the things that you need to pour back into yourself is or are positive things. So when it's social media, whether it's the TV, your family, those things need to be positive because those are the things that you'll be pouring back out into others. So it's kind of a recyclable thing where, again, you're pouring in the positivity, and then everything that you need to put back into yourself needs to be positive as well, because if it's those negative things, then those are the things that will come out later. So again, you pour in good, you pour out good.
I think you need to find a place also, a place of solitude. When you say protect, I think of Jesus and Jesus, try to help everybody, so mindfully, am I going to go about life not wanting to help someone? Granted, it is a task to be stretched thin, but do I have a place that I can go to rebuild or to refresh or recharge, and then be able to go back and be able to continue the walk on it? Because if you not to say that saying no is a bad thing, but get to a point where you say it, it takes a sort of a management to that on it, instead of being able to coincide with the Lord and finding a place that you have to go to and to be able to recharge and to figure out a different way to be able to handle situations.
You have to check yourself sometimes too. You have to tell yourself, is this for me? Is it going to take away, from what your core is and what you believe in spiritually? Just chin check yourself sometimes, and like some people are coming into you and asking things of you. Overall, yes, your job is to share the word, but sit back and think about it sometimes. Like, is this good for me? Overall, you are responsible for you and that relationship that you have with the Lord. So you have to protect yourself in that boundaries.
Okay. And when it comes down to recharge, like Brother David said, what's a way to recharge yourself when you're no longer full? How do you recharge yourself?
Some good music.
Okay.
Some good gospel music, like old school music. Put it on the Beats pill and just listen to it. That works for me.
Okay.
I need to do better, but I'll go with, there's a Bible app that has like different topics that you can choose. They help. Or honestly, he'll get a shout out here, I'll text Deacon Johnson just something about sports or something, but I know that he's in that circle, that he's a God-fearing man, and like what's going to come back is also going to have kind of that same energy. So sometimes you can also just have people that that'll recharge you, but essentially it should be something that you decide, hey, how are you going to do that? And so that's just something I might do.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Finding someone that can pour back into you. Again, you're pouring out someone, having someone in your circle that you can be able to pour back into you to build you back up.
Okay.
incredible message. Thank you so much for being a part of today's service.
We never take it lightly that you choose to spend your time with us, and we pray that something you heard today encouraged and strengthened you.
If this message spoke to you, we have one simple request.
Like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
And don't forget to leave a comment. Let us know what stood out to you, what notes you took, or how this message impacted you.
If you'd like to support what God is doing through this ministry, you can find the giving information right here on the screen.
Your generosity helps us continue to spread hope, love, faith, and encouragement every single week.
Again, thank you for worshiping with us.
We love having you as a part of our online family.
And we can't wait to see you in our next broadcast.
We'll see
you soon.
Open your hearts and minds to our season of first fruits giving. Throughout the Bible, there are several verses about giving our first fruits offerings to God. Proverbs 3:9 tells us, "Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over with new wine." A first fruits offering is like picking the season's first ripe, red, juicy apple from your tree and offering it to God, who brought it forth from seed. This act of giving is done with praise and thanksgiving for past and future harvests. A first fruits offering is above your normal tithes and offerings and comes from your source of income. Your first fruits offering can be a day's pay, a week's pay, a month's pay, or a year's pay. The decision is yours. Here's how to give. Number 1, pray. Ask God to help you be obedient to His word in this season of giving. Number 2, plan. Decide what you will give above your regular tithes and offerings. Remember, your first fruits offerings can be a day's pay, a week's pay, a month's pay, or a year's pay. Number 3, give. Whether you're using an offering envelope or giving online, select first fruits. By giving your first fruits offering to God, you acknowledge that all your harvest and everything you have comes from God and belongs to Him. Make this the year that you put God first in everything you do. Make this the year that you trust God with everything you have. Let's come together as a body of believers in giving our first fruits offering above our tithes and offering. Let's give God our first and our best.